Hi, I'm Jenny Pearson. I'm author of the books The Super Miraculous Journey of Freddie Yates and The Incredible Record Smashers. Okay, so my writing journey. I actually came, I think, to writing quite late. I haven't been doing it that long. And the idea to write a book sort of came from A, having a bit of time. I'd moved house and I wasn't working full time anymore. And B, I'd been sharing stories with my classes, my year 5 and year 6 classes, for quite some time, and I was really enjoying their response to books in read aloud. So when they're laughing or, gasps of shock, and I just began to think, oh gosh, I'd really like to be able to write something that would make a kid feel like that. So I then started to try and write a book, knowing really very little, embarrassing little actually for a teacher. But so I started writing this book, and I just wrote, and I had all sorts of problems with it. I had different points of view. I was hopping around in time. I wasn't really very good with tense. I had a huge learning curve ahead of me, which I had no idea that I did, because I had all the sort of naivety of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. But I loved writing. I did love it from the moment, even if it was quite tripe, really. I sent off the first 3 chapters, and I got a full request immediately, which was bizarre. And then very, very quickly after I sent those, it was like, oh no, this isn't right. So I then thought, actually, do you know what? I really need to probably find out how to do this properly. And I started looking around for writing courses. I read all the books I could read about writing. I found an online course, and that was a really great start for me. I learned a lot, but at the end of that, I still, I had a book that I had edited, cut out bits, moved it around, changed the character. I had done so much editing on it, but I still knew it needed more. It still didn't feel right, and that's when I started searching for other, ways to get feedback. I joined Scooby. And then I found WriteMentor online through this sort of pitching competition. And I didn't even know what pitch was at this point, so I had to learn about that. And then I saw that they were doing a summer mentorship program, and I applied for that and was so fortunate to get picked by the lovely Carolyn Ward, who helped me really knock that first manuscript into shape. So all in all, it was about a year on this first book. But at the end of that, and I think we got it to a really good place, it long-listed on a couple of competitions, it got a few full requests, but I knew that there was something not quite right about it. And I don't think that there was anything else I could do to that particular story to make it better. So, I then decided to write this idea that had been slowly forming in my head, which was Freddie Yates. So my WriteMentor experience has been a brilliant one. I have met so many lovely and supportive people who are all doing, who are all writing and who love children's books and have so much advice and help to give. I'm still really great friends with Carolyn Ward and lovely Tess, who was on that summer programme with me, who Carolyn mentored as well 3 years ago, it was a while ago. I have since then obviously got books published, which has been a total dream. Freddie Yates actually was longlisted in the Bath competition but didn't get through to the shortlists, and I think at that point I was beginning to think, oh gosh, I really thought that was quite a good book, what now? So that's when I started writing Incredible Record Smashers, and again it was so useful to go back and think about all the things that I'd learned through WriteMentor to help me redo this book, and knowing that, you hear other people's stories, it might not be the first book, it might not be the second book, it might not be the third book. I was really lucky that it was my second, and then the book where I thought, after I kind of I didn't get through to the shortlist on Bath, maybe I need to write something else, it just was more of a confidence thing for me as well, as a not give up, just keep going, and one of these might make it. So I had half of Incredible Record Smashers written when Freddie went out to publication, which was great, because when I went around publishers I could say I've got another book. And then so obviously I was very lucky. Freddie Yates went to an auction. There were 8 publishing houses, and yeah, I ended up with a deal with the wonderful, wonderful people at Usborne, and Incredible Record Smashers is out this year, 2021, and next year will be my 3rd book, Grandpa Frank's Great Big Bucket List, which I'm really excited about. Okay, so what am I working on now? Well, I have just, I hope, finished edits on Grandpa Frank's Great Big Bucket List. My editor has 2 other books of mine, one that I know she likes and one that she's got to read, so those have gone to her, and I'm writing another book at the moment, a new thing, and actually this is my 2nd go at it, because I wrote it and I got to the end of my 45,000 words and had a little dance, and then yeah, talked it through with my agent, and it was like, I still think it's a good idea, and so does he, but there were some glaringly massive obvious mistakes. So I am now going through the painful process of rewriting the whole thing again, and I'm at halfway, and I think I'm at that stage where I think I might be about to make another massive mistake with it. So I'm having a little pause to think where to go next. Like, I know the beginning, the end, and I know most of the middle, but there's something that's not quite right, and I can't quite work out how to change it. So at the moment, I'm in a really painful, horrible place trying to write this book out of contract, and hopefully that somebody might want to publish. But, you know, I love it. I love writing, and whether they do or don't take it, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the process. Okay, a piece of advice for people, writers early on in their journey. Ooh, it's going to be hard to do one. I'll try it. I'm going to end up prattling. But first of all, read as much as you can about writing. Get eyes on your work. Take the feedback. Feedback always comes from a good place. It's always a gift, even if you don't like it. What else? Remember that having the time to write is a luxury not afforded to everybody. We're really lucky to be able to do this. And I think that helps me when I'm having a bit of a stop and the words aren't coming. I'm like, I'm so fortunate to be able to sit down and have the time to actually try. Yeah, it's resilience, quite a teachery one. Like, you do mess up, things go wrong. It's so painful having to cut things or change things, or, you know, hearing something that you thought was great and someone comes like, that really isn't landing on the page for me. It's hard to hear it. I hear it, you know, from my agent, from my editor. It's you know, and then reviews afterwards. You've got to kind of take the highs with the lows and learn from them. And remember, this is a joyous thing we're doing. We're writing for children. That's the point, you know, we're writing books for children, and it is a bit for us, but it's for them. So it's not to be too precious about your book or your work. Remember who it's for. And I think if you're keeping the kids right at the forefront, like, this is for them, that comes across on the page. I could go on, there's loads of advice, like, I just don't compare yourself to others, because, you know, that really is the path to madness, and nothing ever comes from that. Good comes from that. But yes, just keep the faith in yourself and keep going. And even when it's really hard, just think, what you're doing this for. You're writing books for kids, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I want to wish you all the best of luck with your writing journeys. You're at the right place with WriteMentor to help you have a hopefully really successful and enjoyable time writing your books. I always say to people, like, if I've managed to do it, you absolutely can too. It's just about putting in the work in and keeping on going. So more power to your writing arms.